That morning, jogging your Nikes, your favorite Levi's jeans, the Boeing plane you probably flew on your vacation this summer, we love them because they feel uniquely American. But now, government efforts to protect native brands are having the opposite effect, creating higher costs and greater competitive challenges for those exact companies. How? Let's figure it out. I'm Mike Iniship, and today we are breaking down how Trump is killing our brands. You will learn why you should be worried about American tariffs aimed at other countries, what really happened to Tesla, Harley-Davidson, and Intel, and why so many big brands suddenly started supporting the military. This video isn't about politics, it's about your wallet, the future of the brands you love, and what Trump has to do with all of it. His next move could change everything. Subscribe to make sure you're prepared. Let's start with the worldwide issues, tariffs. Think of them as self-inflicted taxes. It's a fee the US government charges American companies for importing things they need. And when the company gets the bill, they have only three choices: lose money, charge you more, or stop importing before the next bill. During his first term, President Trump imposed steep tariffs on steel and aluminum imports, alongside a wave of tariffs on goods from China, which sparked a full-blown trade war. Consider Harley-Davidson. In 2018, those new steel and aluminum tariffs triggered retaliatory tariffs from the European Union, specifically targeting iconic American products like motorcycles. This move costs Harley-Davidson up to $100 million. Forced to move some production overseas, the company was branded unpatriotic and faced a devastating backlash from its core customers. And this wasn't an isolated case. However, it would be inaccurate to place the blame solely on Trump's first term. When Joe Biden took office in 2021, he didn't cancel Trump's tariffs. He even added new ones. So, what else can we expect from a second Trump term? Nothing but an escalation with renewed vigor. A new 10% tariff on imports from nearly every country plus additional retaliatory tariffs targeting specific nations were announced. The scale of this shift is shocking. According to The Economist, the average US import tariff could jump from 2% to 24%. And as history has shown, this inevitably provokes a cycle of retaliatory tariffs from other nations, creating a costly cycle that hurts American brands and consumers. Then things got messy. There were deadlines, then delays. It seems Trump's team told him that taking on the whole world at once wouldn't work, so the tariffs didn't get as big as he first wanted. While China still faced the toughest rules, the wider plans were scaled back. But don't be fooled. With 3 years left in his term, that's more than enough time for Trump to cause major challenges for global trade. Yeah, you might be thinking, we saw Trump's tariffs 7 years ago. What could possibly change this time? The difference is one of scale and strategy, and the case of Nike illustrates it perfectly. Recall how Trump's previous trade war with China forced companies to find new factories. Nike spent billions relocating a significant portion of its sneaker production to countries like Vietnam to avoid those specific tariffs. It was a messy, expensive fix, but worked. Now, out of nowhere, the new proposal. A blanket tariff ranging from 10% to 41% on everything imported from 69 countries and territories plus the European Union. And for Vietnam specifically, the rate is set at 20%. Believe it or not, we're actually lucky. The initial proposal was 46%. So those Nikes made in Vietnam get hit with a new tax. But this doesn't hurt Vietnam, it hurts Nike, an American company. And that extra cost? It gets added right to the price of your next pair of Air Forces. And this is just one example. Consider Apple, which relies on assembly lines in China and India, or Micron Technology, which depends on cooperation with Taiwan or many other companies. This isn't a political opinion, it's a simple math problem. A problem for every brand that relies on a global supply chain, which is almost all of them. And of course, Trump's power goes far beyond official policy. He has a more personal and dangerous weapon, his massive influence. As a famous businessman and powerful figure, a single comment from him can make a company rich or destroy it overnight. Am I right, Elon? Yeah, The story of Tesla says it all. We all saw it happen. Musk, who once criticized Trump, became his close ally. After the election, Tesla stock shot through the roof. Investors were thrilled, betting that President Trump would roll back regulations and help Musk companies. But getting close to Trump is like playing with fire. The so-called bromance blew up when Musk criticized Trump's Big Beautiful Bill on social media. Trump hit back instantly, threatening to cancel all government contracts for Tesla and SpaceX. The result was immediate and brutal. Tesla stock crashed 14% in a single day, wiping out a mind-blowing 152 billion from the company's market value. Of course, Musk is no angel in this situation either, but his story is a vivid example of what happens when you get on the wrong side of the president. And he's far from the only CEO learning that lesson the hard way. Take Intel, for instance. Not so long ago, Trump accused Intel's CEO of having ties to China and demanded his resignation. Intel's stock price immediately dropped 3%. The situation only calmed down after the CEO, Labubu, wrote a public letter promising his loyalty to the US and met with the president at the White House. So now, Trump is reportedly considering having the US government take a stake of over 10% in the company. Or consider American Eagle. Its stock soared by 23% after President Trump publicly praised one of its controversial commercials featuring Sydney Sweeney. By the way, I have a complete analysis of this case on my channel, so don't miss out. And of course, Trump wouldn't be Trump without his love of a good deal. A recent proposal suggests that Nvidia and AMD would pay the US government a 50% commission on chip sales to China. Think about that strategy for a second. Step number 1. Ban chip sales to China for national security. Step number 2. Leave the ban, but charge the companies a huge fee to do the business. You have to admit, it's a creative strategy, but while some see it as a practical way to generate revenue, legal experts warn it may clash with existing laws and even constitution. Well, only time will tell how it all ends. Do you know what the most concerning part is? It's not the tariffs and it's not even the conflicts with the administration. The most amazing effect is when brands begin to self-censor. They start limiting their own actions out of fear. Fear of being targeted, shut down, punished or fined. A perfect example is what happened this June. A number of major brands significantly scaled back their visible support for Pride Month events. Others withdrew their sponsorship entirely. This wasn't because their internal values changed. It was a direct response to the administration's crackdown on DEI initiatives. Companies like Nissan, MasterCard, PepsiCo, Garnier, Adidas and Visa quietly pulled their funding from Pride events. The message was clear. Why sponsor Pride when the political winds have shifted? Instead, companies like Oracle and XCG confirmed their sponsorship for a different event, a presidential military parade. The America 250 organization, celebrating the US Army's 250th birthday, also received donations from Amazon, Coinbase, FedEx, Walmart and others. It seems now that the president's true power lies not in taxing imports, but in exporting fear, forcing brands to silence their own values. Okay, let's summarize. What should you do in the next 3 years if you own a brand? Do not cooperate with other companies. Otherwise, pay a commission to the government for that cooperation. Highlight Republican values. Do not quarrel with Trump. Prepare for financial losses and 3 years of instability. Of course, this advice is primarily for large corporations. For small brands, however, there is a unique opportunity to use your invisibility and practice inclusivity, supporting the communities that big brands are now abandoning. So, be clever, and while giants are losing billions of dollars, use these 3 years of incredible chaos to grow your business.